I should have seen this coming a few days ago. Digits was over at my place watching curling with me, and I had Evernote open on the other screen, which happened to be open to a quote of mine. Until you can demonstrate a way of convincing society to treat men and women as equally disposable, this fantasy of equality between men and women cannot exist and is not a valid argument. Me. She looked at it, looked at a few other quotes I had saved, and told me she didn't like them very much. Even that one? Yeah, that's me. I made that one. Why did you make a quote of yourself? It was a long argument that I finally summed up to one line, and I was pretty happy with it. Click, click, link. She read that over, and I asked what she thought of it. She told me it was sad to think about, but it was good logic and hard to counter. She then told me she liked my intelligence. She spent a few moments reading over the first page of my own post that I've saved in Evernote. She was pretty quiet while reading them, and I poked at her that if I was going to expose myself like this, she needed to share what she was thinking. She told me that she was just taking it all in right now. After she was done reading, she told me that it was obvious that I was really smart, and even though she didn't agree with some of what I said, she couldn't discuss it with me because I've researched the topic and it's new to her. Yeah, I should have known at that moment that it would lead to last night. Last night, she didn't show up. Did send me a text, though. She hates the parking lot at the bar and said that she knew it was going to be points against her, but she wasn't going to come unless she had a friend drive her, and her friend who was going to drive her bailed on her tonight. Meh, fine. When I show up to her place, I brought the food she left over at mine, good steak, and she was surprised and happy. Told me that when she said she left it, that she really meant I could have it. I told her that she wanted it for lunch, and if she had asked, I would have taken it to her. Her work is on the way to my work from my place. She said she knew. I told her that I wasn't really unhappy about her not showing up. She told me that she wasn't coming rather than leaving me hanging. She looked for a solution on her own to solve the problem rather than expecting me to solve it for her. Unfortunately, it just fell through. I then discussed potential solutions, such as her meeting me at my work and then me driving her, and she understood that it was important for me to have her out there with me. I wasn't unhappy with her. She met my expectations that I had set from previous events. If things still didn't work out, then they just didn't work out. We'll find new solutions. Then she got pretty serious. Told me her friend told her not to tell me, but she just had to tell me. I'm wondering what this is about. Did you think I don't use a computer? No, I know you use a computer. You use mine. Did you think I wouldn't look you up? You've told me you've looked me up and that you couldn't find anything. Don't remember exactly what she said next, but then she told me she was looking up men's rights, and apparently DemonSpawn showed up pretty quickly. So she looked up men's rights DemonSpawn, and she saw digits. I look her straight in the eye. Hi, Sarah. She giggles and kisses me. She then talks to me about some of the stuff she read. Tells me that I have an amazing memory. Even made mention of the redhead I mentioned in one of my posts with some slight ribbing. Then she laughed at the blue pill people, mostly about how they can't believe she's real, or that they think how I describe the way I dress is like a slob. She loves the way I dress. Those blue pill girls, they'd all drop their panties if they met you. I had to chuckle. Didn't add the like I'd want them, 'cause I have to keep her guessing a bit. Then she mentioned that she loves my fur and yer. She also told me that she liked my smarts and was impressed that I was saying stuff nobody else said on the topic of men's rights. I wasn't just parroting others, but instead made really good points that came from myself and my own thought. She did gripe a little bit about being put out there, but she did tell me she understood why I did it. To teach you guys. I explained that I left almost all private details out because I don't want her or me to get doxed. She didn't know what doxed was, so I explained that to her, and she asked more questions about stuff she didn't know. Unicorns, why if this works on every girl, what do we have against sluts, a few other terms she didn't know. It still ended up being a good night. We talked a lot. She asked me to talk about non-Euclidean geometry while I was sucking on her boobs. Basically, the end result of her finding all this stuff was if I asked her to not look, she wouldn't. I don't mind. And if she asked me to not post about her, I wouldn't. She doesn't mind. She did tell me that she felt like it was the edge of snooping reading all of it, but it was on Reddit, so she passed that thought. I confirmed that I posted it on public forums, so it was no big deal. But it's kinda hard to write about someone when you know they're reading it. On top of that, most of the stuff that's happened over the past month or so has been more private, and I haven't really wanted to FR about it. LTRs are a bit more tricky than plates. RP will work on girls, but as you get and keep an LTR, she matters almost as much as RP theory. You have to tune your alpha-beta mix to a level she's happy with. And, yes, hun, I have tuned myself to give you a bit more validation than I usually do. As such, there's been less generally applicable stuff to write about. Other than this, strangely. Her meeting me field report, I'd already explained to her how what I did worked on her. That was no shock. I've talked RP with her in bits and pieces, so nothing she read here was really a shock to her. I've been really honest with her in the way I think and what I think of her. So what I said here was no surprise to her. You can be honest and have a RP relationship. Nothing in RP says you have to be underhanded or sneaky or anything like that. Have value, tell the woman what you want, and the women will deliver. And no, I don't expect her to become a Redditor, but if she does, our Red Pill Women is linked in the sidebar, winky face.